Morning. Good morning. Thank you, Ms. Barker. Anything I can ask him? All right, we'll go ahead and call this regularly scheduled meeting of the Hill County Commissioners Court to order this 11th day of August 2026, 8:30 a.m. the Hill County Courtroom. We do have a quorum present. If we could, everyone standing with prayer.
Our holy, loving Heavenly Father, we come to you to ask for your blessing upon this time, Lord. Father, thank you for the wonderful promises that you have for us through your Son, Christ Jesus. Lord, I thank you that we can come boldly before your throne, Lord. And Father, I always think of a meeting like this as I've participated in meetings like this. And Lord, we don't have because we don't ask. So Lord, I ask that you provide this commission wisdom. Lord, I thank you for our elected officials. I thank you for our commissioners. I thank you for our judge. Lord, I thank you for the staff and our attorneys, Lord. I just thank you for them. Lord, they work very, very hard, and you know that because you've seen that. So, Father, I pray that you would just bless them with a fantastic meeting. I pray that this meeting would go better than a meeting's gone in a very long time, Lord. Father, I pray that you would just keep us united, Lord, and that we would keep Hill County as the main thing and steward everything that you provided us well, Lord. We thank you for the wonderful forgiveness of sin that we have so that we might live free and have liberty in you. And may we live that out for your honor and for your glory. And it's in the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor and thanks to flag. I pledge allegiance to the United, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Commissioner, how's it going in your precinct?
It's going good. We're helping Larry out with finishing up his chip seal job down there in 1330. And I think that they finished today. Little short-handed yesterday. But we'll get back inside and keep moving forward.
Good, Commissioner.
Well, same thing, thanks for Jim, last week, we did right at 4 miles, and then, after yesterday, they put out 13,000 gallons of oil, we're like about 7,000 gallons today to finish up, and we had re-chip sealed over nearly 9 miles of old chip seal roads that were done about 6 years ago. Try to restore and save what we've done on that, and all gravel afterwards.
We've been still hard at it on doing all of our shredding and our brush cutting, and we're gonna start working on one of our slow water crossings that's really in very poor shape, going across for a couple of the farmers. So they one of them got corn out, but now we got cotton coming, so we're gonna try to get it done before they start dropping leaves.
Commissioner?
Now we're doing a bunch of ditch work and stuff like that that you can only pretty well do this time of year. Usually too much marsh here to do a lot, so we're working on that.
County clerk's up.
We're good.
Each.
All right. How about the constables?
Hospital's done pretty good. Stack up a little bit on tax papers, but we getting further.
Wait, representative from the historical commission, how are you?
So the museum, the Civil Museum, which is y'all's building, we just finished paying $32,000 for roof repairs on the old cell block. We had gotten verbal permission to go and get it done because we were getting some damage down through the floors, and it had been patched, and so we finally got in there and peeled the old caulking out and patching and the old, and that's over $32,000 worth of repairs. So hopefully the roof is fixed. We had some outstanding insurance from a storm April a year ago, that, we kept being told we needed to get it done, so that money could be settled out of the account, so we just last night, let her go ahead and do about $42,000 worth of work. And so the insurance said fix like the north side and the west side, and we're like, well, it's gonna look goofy if we don't paint the other two sides. So we're gonna go ahead and fix, the rest of the roofs and the paintings and the windows. Plus what the insurance is gonna pay us back on the county, like 15,000. So we've been spending some money. Now, the next problem is to let y'all know that's on the horizon. The basement and the foundation of the back half of that cell block museum. Y'all address the front half and spend quite a bit of county money doing that, but now the back half, we're at that point of we need to. And it's about $40,000 to $60,000 worth of work that's on the horizon to get the basement. So anytime y'all down that way, stop in, I'll holler on a Saturday. We've been having good groups coming in. I was there one day, it was a group from the Metroplex that met some relatives from Clifton. They met in Hillsborough, had lunch, so they're bringing tourism dollars, but they met here to go see the old jail museum. So we're getting quite a few customers, so you're all welcome to come out and look at it. Thanks.
Thank you. How about the auditor's office?
We're working on our budget. Sure everything's in there, correct? And other than that, just start ready to go through that.
Ms. Parker?
I'm wonderful. You guys have a vacation.
We're glad you came back.
I'm just working on budget, open enrollment is this week. I reached out to several departments for people who are gonna be gone on vacation, and then there's ahead of time, and I'll just put it in on the day of open enrollment with what collected. Then we'll get those reports on Monday. We'll put the new selections in the budget road for some updated numbers just to be accurate. Other than that, just, I've got a staff member in my office, one girl moved out of state, so here we are, changes in the office, everything that day being one person in. And, if I can help them, do you let me know?
All right, thank you. Development services?
Yeah, same issue. You had one young lady leave our custodian department. She's been here a couple of years, but went on to bigger and better things. Hopefully something that suits her a little better. I think I found a replacement for her, pending a background check, so she should be moving over to the county soon. Have had a really high number of OSSS turned in last month, way above average, so people are still moving here or building houses. Some of the building maintenance is starting, ACs are starting to show their age in this heat, trying to keep up with it, so trying to stay on top of that, kind of the pressure go out. Few other little repairs, but other than that, just move around along.
Other constables?
Just been busy with the papers like Kyle said. We've also done some of our mandatory training in the public information officer class, a 20-hour class, and then the continuing education 20-hour mandated class. We just completed those, so I'm busy with work and school too.
Awesome. That was one of those unfunded mandates, right?
Yeah, classes, it costs each one of us approximately $1,000 just to go to the class. It's mandated that we have to go to it between the class, hotel stay, and travel. I mean, you're looking at $1,000.
That's every year.
Right now, it's every year. There's talks on trying to make it easier. It's just. When they make these mandates, they have, I guess, one agenda in mind, and they don't take any grasp of the reality of how much it affects counties and the funding of the.
Yeah,
Other than that, just, that's the evictions here.
yeah.
One this morning, it was, kind of, it was clean until the bugs came out. When you walked in and the bugs started coming out of everywhere, raiding off and everything else in the truck decided to go and, yeah. After court, I'm going to take shit off.
County attorney, how are you, sir? Very good. From my office, I was gonna make a comment on Hill County Fairgrounds. The annual Paw Pals garage sale that they host for fundraising. It's their big fundraiser for the year. We're gonna be letting them use the arena for that event. They'll be collecting during the month of October. They'll be collecting for a couple weeks of donated items, and we'll have their own dumpster, and then we'll have the sale. And then we'll clean up after, and so we've got a pretty good, I think, understanding of what we expect them to leave the facility looking like. Mr. Carlson is supervising that event over the period. It is quite a few weeks, the whole thing, so,
When does it start?
yes. So not question and answer time, Commissioner.
Good question.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and move on into open forum. Anybody here on the signed up for open forum? I didn't see anybody. I have nobody online. Nobody's registered online, so we'll go ahead and move past open forum into the consent agenda. We've got actions on minutes, invoices, payroll, monthly reports for revenue and disbursement, and observed for record elected officials training. If
I'll make a motion to approve it. Second.
we got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We go ahead and move on to our court orders. Number one is discuss interaction and bonds for Martin Dudick, Hill County Commissioner Precinct 3, Kyle Cox, Hill County Constable Precinct 3, and Hill County Sheriff's Office errors and omission policy.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried. Number two, discuss an action to revise court order 20265301 from 7/28/27/26 regarding the employee medical insurance split for Baylor Stock and Light non-stock fund. So if you guys don't remember, we discussed the employee splits where the employee would pay a certain amount, the county pays a certain amount, and those splits. There was the numbers as far as the dollar amounts were correct, but the percentages weren't quite right. So this is just cleaning up all that language to ensure that it's very clear for the record.
Make a motion.
I have a motion, second, and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number three, discussion or action regarding employees' tax on short-term disability benefits premiums.
We passed, I think it was last commissioner's court, that we would pay for the short-term disability for the employees. Just wanted to give a quick explanation of how this is going to work, so that when the employees see it, basically they have to pay tax on this. They're required to pay tax on short-term disability, even if we pay the premium. So when they see their paycheck, if they opt into it, because it's an optional insurance, they'll see both we give them money and then we take them money, a deduction and both sides. So, but the net will be zero to them.
So it will be zero.
It'll be zero to them.
So how do you tax, you're taxing it as a benefit, right? I mean, it's part of their pay,
Mhm.
but then you're washing that out.
Correct.
It's that way.
So they're adding it to it, taxing it, and then pulling it
Right.
back out what money we get.
Just.
Yeah.
But you'll see it on both sides, a deduction and
And the amount will be the same.
no, it'll change by the amount of the FICA. Cause you have to pay taxes on it.
So it's a loss for the,
No, it's a net zero.
Net
to the
zero.
employee.
at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's all.
It's just very taxes, so just like the final insurance vehicles, we put it in, pay taxes, and take it right back out, not like, for your baby bond.
So they get credited as income, but they don't get it.
Right. It's just to trigger the taxes, so we put it in, put it out, it just triggers top, that's it.
It's
It goes on the collective.
Yeah.
We've been doing it.
Just want to explain that.
And then depending on how you fill out your tax form, it's different for everybody. Because if you were single and you're married, it's all different.
Need to be
There's shouldn't be more action, just.
I was about to say, I don't think we need to take any action on that. We already took action.
Right, you just, as
So-
an explanation.
Okay.
You might, I would maybe say, explain it, when y'all have an open enrollment, you know, that way we aren't ambushed.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll just be reading waivers, so.
all right, thank you.
All right, well then we'll go ahead and move on to the next agenda item number 4, discuss interaction on an agreement with H2O Partners pertaining to the hazard mitigation plans grant.
The H2O Partners presented an addendum too, and I was wondering, do you hear back from them?
I did, and she was supposed to send me an updated one, right? I don't know what I would see is, basically. It's the contract that we've already approved and signed. Had a 2024 expiration date. And so they want to revise the contract to push the expiration date back. Because we can't get paid for the grant without it being within the term of the contract.
Push it back to what?
October 31st of 2028.
28.
Make a motion to approve.
Are they done?
A motion and a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, approved. Okay. Number 5, discuss interaction on contract and agreement between Hill County, the 66th District Court, and the Community Supervision and Corrections Department serving 66th District Judicial Districts and the Court of Hill County, Texas. This is a contract between Judge Lewis, the 66th, and adult probation. Basically, and Mr. Mason is like, I don't know really why we need these contracts, because by law, he has to provide services to the judge. But we have traditionally always done a contract as to what will be expected of them.
We do that every year.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, she would do.
Yeah, just an update, so, just administrative paperwork,
Make a motion to approve.
Say,
motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 6, discuss interaction regarding amended software as service agreement between Hill County and Tyler Technologies, Inc. for the purpose of migrating the district clerk's jury application to Title Enterprise Jury Manager product. This is basically Tyler's solution for upgrading our jury software. It actually, I think, ended up saving us money in the long run. Right now, we send out trifold jury notices, which you can imagine the postage on.
Marshall talked about that in
Yes.
the budget.
Now we'll go to a single card. So just in postage saving, it's probably gonna be pretty nice, but that's what the district clerk is requesting.
Make a motion to approve.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Number 7, observe and or record Hill County, Texas measurement and verification report provided by Ministries regarding the utility assessment report to enhance energy efficiency within the Hill County Courthouse and jail storage facilities. Mr. Crossan and I met with the McKinstry's regarding the utility assessment report. They gave us the breakdown of what it looks like. It should be included in the packet. They saved us money again, as usual. I did request that next year when they come and present it themselves. They gave it to us a while back, a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago, a month ago. But we're not in any hurry due to everything that was going on in court, to present it. I told them we'll take this one, but what I was wanting them to do next year when they come in, because we'll have 2 new commissioners, is to explain the history of this project, why we did it, the setup of the agreement, and try to give us some historical background on how we got to be working with them with this utility assessment report. So, they will be here next year to kind of break that down and give us some knowledge. But it did show, I was very surprised, I think, Mr. Carlson was very surprised as to the efficiency of our buildings. Was pretty impressive, so. Yeah. Especially the jail, it never turns off, and if it does, it's a bad day, so it's very dark in there. There's no windows. But, so.
What did that cost us to get that done, Nina?
Well, we paid them up front, or the court did back when this was done 5 years ago.
It was a significant amount of money.
It was a significant. We hit our checkbox every time, and I believe the way that it worked, and I don't want to talk as turn. Is that they refund us as long as we hit our goals. Maybe should have had it come talk to me.
Yeah, sometimes they'll do. I've ran across it at other districts or not what, but they'll come in and what they do, they assess your bills straight up across everything in your district or this county, whichever. And they'll just come in and say, hey, you're gonna pay me X amount of money, but we're gonna save you this, and then we're gonna say, hey, what set points they stay at or get to. And if you do make their point and they're in a plus, they give usually money back to for what's signed up. And a lot of times they'll even do so they'll come back and assess equipment and stuff like, hey, well, if we start upgrading this equipment, then hey, that's gonna help us, which would be money you're spending, but money you spend to save money.
Do you think that's a way?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it is, they've met, I think 1 year they didn't meet their marks. Because the flood. And we had the doors on the courthouse open for 3 months, 5 months, when we were trying to air it out, basically, with all those fans running and everything. So that's kind of a wash, you can't really blame them. So I think so far it's been a pretty good program for us. But anyway.
The auditor's office has always verified the energy savings.
Put that on the list. All right, I need a motion for observe and record. That's your desire.
Make a motion to observe and record.
All right.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carried. Number 8, discuss, public hearing to discuss the proposed closure of a portion of Harbor Lane and Cedar Patch Lane, formerly known as Comber Lane. We do have one person signed up online to speak in this public hearing. That's a Bell. If you are online and you can hear me, if you would go ahead and unmute your microphone and go ahead and speak. You've got 5 minutes.
Perfect. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to speak on this. Obviously, there's not even a road there currently right now and has never been. And I wouldn't see any need why there would be, or a need for the road or the right of way in between those properties. So that's basically all I wanted to kind of say on that.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You have a good rest of your day. I appreciate you talking to us about it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. All right, so, that was Miss Brandy, Beall. So we'll go ahead and move to number 9, closing unless anybody hears. Nobody? Number 9, close the public hearing. Number 10, discuss interaction to the proposed closure of a portion of Harbor Lane and Cedar Patch, formerly known as Comber.
Make a motion to close a portion of Harbor Lane and Cedar Patch as depicted on the plat attached to the notice of merger. You all have that in the packet. Again, as the Colin mentioned, these roads were never developed. And there'll be probably another amendment coming into the court regarding this subdivision at a later date with respect to road name changes. I make the motion to close the road as proposed. Second.
Motion and second. I'm gonna wait for Mr. Holmes to look back. He sounds like he's gonna get the posting.
And it's in the packet.
I've got it. I don't know why you didn't. We make sure we keep that. Yes.
We did the same thing with that.
Okay. We had some questions on a road closure that we did in the past, or that the court did long ago. And there was a little vague. So. You saw it.
There were 2 of them. Or is it?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We got it all in the packet. Now, this was posted in the courthouse, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was posted on the door and it does indicate the meets and bounds of these closing, which is very important. So I have a motion to second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried.
That. And I did a court brief on that too, if you want to put that in there.
All right, number 11, discuss budget works, not discuss it, budget workshop to discuss, review and consider preliminary budget requests as of the date of this posting of the proposed budget for the fiscal year 26-27 has not been drafted or filed because there's no proposed budget, a physical copy of the proposed budget and the related taxpayer impact statement referencing Texas Government Code 551.043C cannot be calculated or attached to the stone. The documents will be available on future agendas and the entity's website once the formal proposed budget is established. So we're still working on the budget. There's been a lot of work being done behind the scenes on this budget. Not by me, really, mostly by your auditor and your treasurer. They have spent countless hours in that document, working on it. One thing that I want to talk about today, as you know, there is a commissioner's court tomorrow to discuss elected official salaries. You ask why? I want to be sure that what you guys voted on is exactly what you want to happen. As we started doing the numbers, there are some unintended consequences to the actions that were taken. Such as, your chief deputy at the sheriff's office will make as much as the sheriff, with just a 3.5% cost of living. And we need to get our terms correct as well. There's a difference between a cost of living and a raise. Right now, we're talking only cost of living. The sheriff's office has also proposed a raise. Should we grant a raise of any kind, then the chief deputy may be making more than the sheriff, and the captains would be making almost what the sheriff's captains. We did multiple salary surveys Although we did not adopt those numbers, we did adopt the structure. And we did the structure for a reason. You guys were here, I wasn't even here. By doing a 0% elected officials and a 3.5% employees, we are destroying that structure that we bought and paid for. I wanted to be sure that that is what the court's intentions were. If it is, then there's no action to be taken tomorrow, then we open and say no action and we close. If you guys want to rediscuss that or.
But we also paid for one last year and did not use it.
Correct.
Yeah, those, we fully funded all of those step raises, right?
What was done last year for the sheriff's office was correcting which is exactly what we're gonna run into.
Yes.
We corrected the gaps at the sheriff's office last year. Should we not adopt a cost of living for electeds, then you're undoing what you did last year. And I just wanted to be sure that that was the court's intention, because I wasn't sure that that's the court's intention. Right now, let's fix the project. Well, I can't do that. Let me get that. While she's getting those, let me switch gears. You guys can keep up with the way my brain works, because we'll come back to that in a second. Longevity pay. I'd like to revisit that as well. Upon thinking about this more, I still do not like capping the longevity pay. The total amount saved was $24,000. I don't think that's worth it to tell our people that have been here the longest that they've been here too. If we wanted to split the baby, I would entertain lowering the payment amount to $150 with no cap.
So we capped that at 4,000.
We capped it at 4,000. That's correct. Well, we haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, we were just talking about.
We've only discussed it. There's been no motions or anything done with it officially. So that's my recommendation to the court. If you guys want to lower that liability, then lower the payment to $150. Now, there was the Ms. Peavy brought up that will continue, that liability will continue to grow, which is true. It will continue to grow. But as soon as some of our 30 or 40 or 25-year employees leaves, that liability decreases. So that will be a constant flux in there. I know, there's a lot of employees at the sheriff's office that aren't even eligible for it, because you have to be here for 3 years before you can collect them. So that's another thing I wanted to put on your guys' radar. What we'll be doing, and I will be filing a proposed budget by Friday, so last day I can file. It is just that, a proposed budget. It will not include the new insurance selections from our employees, correct? It will not include a change to longevity, because we haven't adopted a new longevity policy that would be changing longevity. Right now, if we filed it the way it is, policy hasn't been changed, it'll stay exactly the same. 200 uncapped. So,
For 24,000, I think, 200, uncapped is fine. Why cut it back?
Why lower that?
Yeah, why lower it? I mean, for 24,000, that's.
I think when we were talking about it, we didn't really know what the impact was.
we did, that number just came from the CD early this week, or, well, no, today's late last week.
Yeah, and I'll say, like at my barn, the 4 guys that are left at the moment, and every one of them follow that, they're 20 plus, almost right at 8 years, so it's benefiting them,
It's a huge benefit to folks. We are raising insurance rates, or we're not raising.
But we're
Insurance rates are being raised, I think that it is a huge benefit. It is looked forward to. We also, Ms. Peavy and I have been kicking around how to implement the paying it on their anniversary day. There's really not a way to do it that current. Maybe we can get around to that. Yeah.
Never
Maybe
give, Never give up.
Yeah, maybe we can get a way to figure out how to do it in an efficient manner, but right now, and the time crunch that we're in, there's no reason to rush it.
Right.
Everybody's used to getting paid out that way. We'll tackle that very later. So, yeah, maybe next year. So,
Judge.
yes, ma'am.
There were a lot of employees that called me after the last full session. That felt that they were being penalized by the cap on the longevity. And then also y'all's wording, giving the foreman raises. Our policy says we do not give merit raises, so if y'all can rephrase that to restructure rather than just a raise, because our policy is not on there. When we restructure, we're gonna be really compare market data and make sure that you've done those duties to make sure that it aligns. Just the way our policy is written, so.
I don't really think we want to do market data.
I don't think you can afford nothing.
Well, we're under there.
That seems like a merit.
Our guys get paid less than they can get from anybody else.
Employees asked them to call me and after about 4 or 5 minutes call.
You can probably call that whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Our guys making that $20 an hour less.
Hold on one second. I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're also saying that they're hearing that, the sheriff is asking for a raise on sworn, but not sworn. So then you're creating that issue of, we're picking and choosing who we want to give those raises or restructuring to. And it's just creating a dynamic on the backside that's not sitting well with employees. And I just want to make sure that I'm a voice for everybody and kind of remain unbiased about this. I'm trying to follow what we have in place.
Right. Well, the issue that you have is for the sheriff's office and for your guys, is you're not getting applications. And that's the fact of the matter. And it's because of the market. If we did a market study, we can't pay it.
Triple it.
That's just plain and simple. We're trying to incentivize people to come here as much as we can, but we can only do so much. So a restructuring, that would be fine, but that's the simple fact of it. If we lost a position, in a, like Mr. Crossman lost a custodial position, he got applications. So that to me says those positions are paying somewhere, at least for Hill County, close to what it needs to be. Now, that same person probably go do the same duties in Dallas and make twice as much or whatever, but we can't do that. We're not. So that is the reason for what we're doing. Again, we haven't done anything, and I will be filing a proposed budget that can be completely modified, except for elected salaries. Once we post in the paper
That's
what we say, then we can't go above it. We can go below it. So if we say we're elected official salaries are this with 3.5% cost of living, and then we come back proposed and we say, no, we want to do 2. We can do that, but you can't start at 0 and go to 2. So that is why I wanted to talk about the elected official salaries. So coming back around, what I have here is my proposal for elected official salaries. This is including a 3.5% cost of living, as well as uncapped longevity pay at the current pay rate. So this is what I'm asking you gentlemen to take action on tomorrow. I wanted to give you guys time to think about it. And overlook these numbers.
My one comment about the longevity pay is there is a lot of value to institutional knowledge. A lot.
Agree.
So,
no question.
Agree. And I mean, this is just Shane's way of looking at it, is loyalty means a lot to us, to me, and people that have stuck out working in county government for that long. I think it's worth 24,000 to me. it's not generally a thankful job. People don't really send you thank you cards very often. I'm averaging about one a year.
You save it year over year.
Yeah, I just read it every year into one.
So the county attorney, judge, and the sheriff do not get a raise under this scenario.
Okay, I'm gonna disclose that, okay, Shane asked me about 8:20 to prepare this, so there could be some typos, I will go back upstairs and double check, and also send it to our auditor. That'd be nice.
Yeah, this was before last minute. And this was after last minute. This was last second. So the intention is, at least what I'm proposing is a 3.5% elected official salary to match the employees. That way our pay gaps stay the same. And then an uncapped longevity. We can discuss the amount if you guys want to lower the liability. I think that's a way to do it without just only hurting one sector of our employees. This also includes the constables and justice of peace salary increase with the 3.5% on top of that.
I'm not in favor of county attorney, county judge, sheriff not getting a raise.
Well, I'm proposing everybody at 3.5. That's just an error. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
We'll fix it.
We'll clean it up this time.
Because we're gonna try to get this in the paper for next Thursday, which it does, and fair warning, it will push our timeline, our adopting the budget timeline back. After I file if I file on the 14th, we have 25 days to adopt the tax rate and the proposed budget. Which would put us, I think, on the 31st of August or the 1st of September. So we're still within our timeline, but I wanted to be sure of the intentions of the court on this particular item because it has impacts throughout the budget. Right now, with the budget that I'm working in, with a 3.5, I was able to keep y'all's portion of the budget at 12%, which I raised it to last year from 8.25 or whatever it was to 12%. I was able to keep that in there so far.
Thank you.
Man, you haven't seen it yet.
Take out the soap.
You haven't seen it yet, but I was able to keep that at 12%. I was able to have the 3.5% in for both electeds and employees. And I did do some trimming throughout the budget. Development services gets one employee. IT doesn't get one at all this year. And again, this is all proposed. None of this is in stone. Nobody's voting on anything today. We're just talking. What was the other office that somebody else, Judge Collins part-time went to full-time, that stayed.
Jackson.
Emergency management, one employee, and the sheriff's office, one dispatcher. I didn't fill out their patrol. I have preface this. I have a very tiny amount of money left over at the moment, but that's without the new insurance selections. For us to entertain whether or not we need to restructure the sheriff's office's sworn division. I'll be able to get a better number on that
Once you get all.
probably after the proposed budget is filed, to see if that's possible.
I know this is a while, but there was a huge issue in paying overtime dispatch.
That is the reason why,
Yeah.
I really wanted that dispatch position to go to the sheriff's office because I think we're gonna see a considerable amount of savings in the overtime. That'll round out that department. It's almost like they're working with an odd number right now, where they have more shifts than, I'm not explaining it correctly, but they're having to rely on overtime to make sure that they have coverage.
Yeah.
This would be able to let them
And
have these.
dispatch that takes that slack.
Yeah.
That's a huge,
So.
I think it will pay.
oh
for
my
itself.
gosh, immensely.
Yeah.
And the lead is still entertaining, it's been done, it shows that the exemption, we're still trying to do that. So there's still a push to get dispatched to fall.
Oh, really?
So we'll present it again and see if. Hopefully the results, it's been, I think, 3 times the time.
That's one office that, every other building shut down for a day without fenced in or like county was wild. That's probably one of the most necessity offices in this county.
We've had technical issues that have not anytime when Sheriff Barnes was here. I don't even know how long ago it was, but when we've had to move all of our dispatch to Waco. Due to some technical stuff, and it is in that house, not efficient.
Police, fire, EMS, everybody.
So, any thoughts on the elected salaries? Mostly so, when we come back tomorrow, I don't have to ask Nick Parker, 3.5 seconds prior to the meeting.
I think that's still exactly what happens to be reviews that once we have more than about 5 minutes to work on it.
When you get that done, would you really send that to us, please?
Could we provide her some guidance on their intentions?
I didn't think that was the intention, I'll say on my part, I thought it was, there was still a gap left, us doing this.
There are in some cases,
But not all of them.
not all.
So my intention wasn't that, like I
Well, I
understand.
don't think that was anyone's.
Yeah, I'm definitely not getting that, but I
That's
think.
one of those-
And that's why
Unintended consequences.
Correct,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna be in the habit of rehashing your guys' decisions. But I was pretty
That's a-
convinced that
Yeah.
this is not the.
Thought wasn't our intention.
Right, wasn't the intention.
I still think it would go up 3.5% on
You
tax
agree with that?
to make all this work, and I think a 3.5% tax increase would even out things. I realize that's not what everybody wants, but I think in reality, people, especially the people in the peanut gallery, expect a whole lot more from us. And I just think 3.5%, which we can go up on taxes, is the way to go.
And that's my point, is if you give a 3.5% increase to electeds or to regular employees, now a corresponding increase in your general fund, you're funding all of that again out of new construction.
I see it too.
I think it's really opened our eyes to that scenario. That was
The 3.5%, we're looking at $2,900. My employee's getting 86 cents. Extra. That's not doodly crap. 3.5%. I've got one employee that left, that if we could get close to 27 an hour, he'd come back. We're away from that. I'm probably fixing to lose another. Good employees.
And money,
Jim's already lost one, maybe another, maybe.
We're only down to 4 total.
Would he tell you something we need to tell him?
Sir,
He tell you something you need to tell him?
Let's take that one off.
so if you were to pass it, we're gonna have to do that. And one of you did not want the pay raise, you can opt out of that. There is a way to make that happen.
can we do our employees like the foreman, the step?
Well, I think if you wanted to do that, then we're talking about an entire
You restructure the whole thing.
And then we're gonna get away from what y'all paid for
Well,
last year, correct?
you wouldn't, we didn't take it, we paid for 2 years, 2 times. The only thing that we adopted from those historical reference was the structure. The amounts we could not afford.
Correct.
If what Commissioner Crumpton is talking about, we would be restructuring the entire deal. So basically, your step 100. Your step 100, no, that's not it. It's just,
You're gonna move them up like.
you would make them to 101
Yes.
or 102, and then everybody else, so.
And then we
That
got
is
every
going-
other department in,
that,
Hill
and then
County.
every department in Hill County would be, they're all on a pay schedule. So
And then you get to the point where you can't afford it.
then we, yeah, we'll be way over budget.
Back in squat.
their auditor is having a
Back,
hard
all back to
time.
square one. And then we'll be, what he's talking another 3.5% tax across the board.
I think David's point was spot on, it's the CPI, and then we do the steps. If we just do the CPI every year, we won't fall off. And then we can pinpoint those that if you're not getting applicants, you're having a lot of turnover. We can single those out and do a internal market so that. I'm thinking office, the attorney's office and judge's office. Commissioner, attorney, we can all sit together and do what we pay someone to do, just do it on our own.
We can
We,
be,
we all know what,
We know
we
what.
have a pretty good idea what the market. will show.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's like, been wasting time doing that,
Live it every day.
yeah.
We frankly, we just can't afford to pay for it.
exactly.
So the market in our area is $20 an hour more than they're like that. And that's a big increase.
I know it's not likely to last, I wouldn't think, but
It is what now?
while it's here, you gotta.
Now, talking to Jimmy, receiving one. Names, but we said in the data centers, that are making like $50 an hour. They just go take that money on the tree and take it on. I mean, there's just no way you come into that number. Yes. You know, it's short term, temporary, but we do need to retain our employees and to get the applicants as well.
Except that the short term is probably gonna be a few years.
Few years.
So.
And as Ms. Piggy pointed out, you're banking on new construction. Is how we're paying these increases, unless we've got a bunch of one-time expenses built into the budget right now, which I don't really see that many. There's some equipment. There's really, that's about maybe some maintenance issues, but we still have to budget for those because we don't know what's gonna break them. So I don't see a whole lot of one-time expenses that we can use to, if there's no, the new construction drops, which I don't foresee it dropping soon. But I don't also feel like we should gamble our budget on money that's not guaranteed.
Not without an increase in revenue, increase in the tax rate. You know, if you don't increase the tax rate, you're paying employees an increase. Again, that comes out of that new construction. It doesn't come out of your base tax rate.
I hate it, but.
We got a choice.
Mhm.
And you'll where I stage is close to 2%, even though they're in a budget deficit, it's gonna be adding something.
Well, as unpalatable and unpopular as that is, it, at some point, and maybe not this year, but at some point, and maybe, but, that's gonna become a reality. Is bumping that number up closer to the voter approved rate.
Well, you know, road graders have doubled in the last 5 years. I gave 280 and Larry says they're comparable only 600, so that's a huge amount of difference, and of course, trucks are up and mechanic work is up. It's. We don't do something, y'all won't do something. Only me.
Yeah,
I sat back and I could throw rocks. But you know, it's gonna get to where you're gonna have less and less that you can do. And with more and more people on the roads. you need more.
Well, we did that with the FM lateral. And, you know, it had an impact, modest as it is. Do you go back to look at the M and O? I don't know, I know you don't wanna do that.
My thoughts long-term, were Hubbard data center is being built. It seems to be unstoppable, even by the governor or his lack of action. I was wanting to see their valuation hit our tax rolls, forcing our tax rate down. Then, if taxes were to be raised, the taxpayer, which the net, which still, the taxpayer, when they open their bill the next year, would still be lower than it was last year because of how drastically it's gonna drop, or it's predicted to drop our tax rate by law. So,
And you still have other people in that area looking to go county. You still got other data centers looking.
yeah,
And, you know,
I heard about that.
we didn't do the pilot, and so I think that's the responsible thing to do.
Yeah, by not doing an abatement with them, it forces us almost to. We have to take on the valuation onto our tax rolls, so right now we have, let's just round figure it, $5 billion of taxable value in the county. They're gonna add 20 billion. Which will force our tax rate dramatically lower. Let's just out a number, right now, we're at almost 49 cents per hundred or whatever we're at. It'll drop it, let's say, 20 cents per hundred. So if we raise 3.5%. The taxpayer is still paying less taxes. And we will. Then garner more tax revenue. While the taxpayer gets to pay less taxes. That was my intention of waiting this year. And seeing what the impact, because nobody can tell us. We've talked to the smartest tax people around and they're like, we got some good guesses.
Yeah, you can
But
everything
don't
on
publish this on a piece of paper because we're not gonna guarantee this is what's gonna happen. And so. If that center is gonna be there, then. We have to try to make the best of it as we can.
With the liquids, you'll look like heroes.
What?
You'll look like heroes if the tax rate goes down.
Well, yeah, till you have to increase it.
And
You wouldn't blow down.
And well, you don't have a choice as to how much it goes down. The mechanism by the state tells you what your tax rate's gonna be.
Oh, we'll go back
Yeah,
down.
because you no new revenue rate, can't make more than you did last.
And the thing that worries me the most about that, when they go back into session, is the next piece of legislation that changes that from 3 and to 1.
Or zero.
And then
And that's coming.
the flip side to that coin is. Should that data center go bankrupt? Or burn up or disappear or whatever happened to it.
Your toes.
Now your no new revenue rate has just shot back up in 1 year. To 49 cents per hundred or whatever it was from 20. So now your taxpayer is gonna open their bill. And have
How long is it gonna be before they're taxable for their year, 2?
well.
Their tax.
Right now, they paid rollback taxes on all the property they bought last year. It went from ag to commercial and they had to pay 5 years of rollback taxes on that. Now, everything that was considered new construction out there last year, which probably wasn't much. Is our new construction that we're getting, and so we'll have new construction next year. And then the stuff that was new construction is now taxed. So as you go. This value is gonna constantly be added onto our rolls as those projects are built out. And new construction is gonna constantly be added to our rolls. It's just you don't ever know how much new construction.
Well, judging from the number of trucks running down the road, it's a bunch.
They're solid all the way to Hubbard.
Huh?
They're pretty well solid to Hubbard. I bet they got well over 100 trucks running just
easy
down.
Easy.
Yeah, in the morning, they said stoplight all the time. You don't go past the stop light if you don't have
And
it.
they went to, Canfield went to 5 crushers just to keep up.
Now, the information period you can build up in price.
Well, I'm worried about our supply. At the end, and that's something that we need to, and that's a kind of a long range forecast, but at some point. There's only a finite amount of that material that's available. And we really seriously, I talked about this 2 years ago. We really, as a county, need to, as unpalatable as it is, think about acquiring a pit for the county. I don't want to go into that business, but you could acquire it and sub that out, have somebody operate it for you. Because at some point, either we're gonna have to require them to get their materials somewhere else. Or pay our hauling costs to haul in material once they deplete it. Or own our own pit, or we won't have any construction material. It's not a fatalist to any,
Just went by that.
it's really all.
Just a minute of them talking.
Yeah.
And then we're still going.
It's all day.
All day, right, trucks, you know.
That's just what's coming through Hillsborough. Again.
Yeah.
And the degradation of the roads, I talked to Textile about it, and. You know, every one of those trucks, not every one of them, but the majority of them are running over limit. DP has finally started writing tickets. And that word spread through the trucking industry. So I don't know if they're allowing them to load zip or not. They're paying attention to it anyway. Back on topic.
I've seen them loaded to the ground.
Oh, yeah, no, they're running.
Raced it over. Most of them are powered.
Yeah, they're running 88,000 tons on 58,000 ton rated rate.
They're taking gravel off here in town, maybe how much they lost in between.
Yeah, I'm telling you, windshields, it's crazy. Incorrect.
So the budget.
Yeah, back to the budget. Sorry, sidebar. So you guys are gonna redo this?
Well, but again, my question is. What is the guidance of the court?
I think we need to go to 3.5%.
Well, I think let's put it this way. There's unintended consequences in our decision from last week. Relative to the elected officials' salaries. I think we need to look at this and see what kind of an impact it is and maybe reverse that decision.
So what I'll do is I will ask Ms. Parker to come up with a clean version of this sheet with the 3.5% across the board for both electeds and employees. And we can discuss that tomorrow. You guys can think about it. And then we'll discuss it tomorrow.
So where does that fall in on taxes? When we didn't go up on taxes?
Correct.
I think we need to go up to 3.5%, let y'all go ahead and plug that in where y'all can show us where we are.
Or at least see what this shows us. This paper here to see, hey, if we'd only go up to 1% on the taxes versus. Well, we'd had to go up if we didn't,
Well, with the timeline, you can't drag this out forever. So.
yeah,
Well, that I don't know. So
or I don't know, okay, yeah, don't.
timeline wise, can we revisit the proposed tax rate? We haven't posted it yet.
You can revisit the proposed tax rate.
Cause we're going to be posting. We would have to have it done by Tuesday by noon. If we're going to revisit the tax rate. Because it has to be in the paper Thursday. And that Tuesday at noon is when it hits the press. So, you know, it would not be anything we could drag our feet on.
You know, we make a motion to raise taxes
No.
3.5%.
No,
Now, we're not taking any action.
we are taking no action today.
How
And
about tomorrow?
No, because it's not on the agenda. The only thing on the agenda tomorrow is elected official salaries, so that's what I'm saying, I have to put out a new agenda tomorrow. For Tuesday, because we have to wait 3 business days.
Yeah.
And Tuesday, you would have to make a decision on the tax rate. To get in the paper by Thursday, and it'd have to be Tuesday before noon.
But we need to see the impact of this on the overall budget before. we make
This is
that
already,
decision.
this is already factored into the overall budget right now.
It is.
Oh, like this?
Like
Oh, okay,
this.
okay.
Yes, and I am right at budget. In terms of us. Yes, ma'am.
If we do the 3.5, and the 3.5 elected employees, it really makes the conversations in the sheriff's office pay raises for this more than water, because then you would still have people over the sheriff making more money. Just so.
But
I didn't.
you said if we do the 3.5 and 3.5. That. If we gave the sheriff's office a. Adjustment, restructuring. That it would still put some making as much or more than the sheriff.
It would be more,
It would be more.
it would be more. So really, there's no way to.
It's fixed that.
This fixes it with the 3.5%, but when you add. Sheriff asked for 7, if you add 7 on it, then it. Washes that.
No, but you don't get everything you ask for.
No, I just wanna make that clear, that, you know, we talk about this later in other budget cycles about, you know, the 7% for the sworn. If you're counting it at 3.5 for the sheriff, you can't really move those other people up, because you would have 3 positions making more than the sheriff.
Then you have the same problem. You're creating the same
Creating more.
problem. Yeah, I get it.
Just the way the structure is, how close they are in that department. Other departments, we don't really have that issue. Because we're so far spaced apart from like our chief deputies and our foremen, but in the sheriff's office, it is a huge item.
Golly, the only way to fix that is. Raise the sheriff pay.
Exactly, you'd have to create a larger gap from your chief deputy to your sheriff. So then it kind of in our offices. Our offices, that gap. I'm just throwing ideas out there, I just don't want all the scenarios to be known.
Well, until we or y'all, I should say, implement the whole thing that was set up in the surveys we ran, you're still gonna have problems.
Well, I just need an extra $2 million.
Huh?
I just need an extra $2 million to implement that survey.
Well, did you check that?
I mean, I
No, but I mean,
only got so much in the pot.
well, I know, but that's gonna continue. I mean,
Right,
you
yeah.
can't do it today,
Right.
but I think you're gonna have to raise the sheriff
It's gonna be
above that.
constantly nagging at us.
Mhm. I don't think we have a choice but to raise a sheriff's salary above 3.5%.
How much?
I don't know what that's gonna go to.
It depends on what we're doing for his other tasks.
Yeah.
So I mean, it really.
Well,
depends on
that's gotta be on some graduated scale. That can't be across the board. I mean, I appreciate what he wanted to do. We would like to do that too, however, come,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah, because we're getting closer and closer that we have to go up on our taxes, and that's what our intentions.
Next year, I'm just keeping him above his staff and his fair amount. You don't.
I do agree with that statement.
But maybe we can look at it next year, maybe create a larger gap next year based on what we're seeing next budget.
And I'm almost positive, I don't wanna speak for the sheriff, but I'm sure he would tell you, it doesn't matter. You know, pay my people, but. We have to keep the structure in line. Otherwise, we end up in the quagmire we were in or even the worst one we were in when you guys had to do the big decisions. And I don't want to see that again.
well, the county is not going to shrink population wise. It is gonna grow. Industry is gonna come. and the tax base is gonna grow. I don't wanna count on industry, commercial. But as Martin has always alluded to, the I-35 corridor is gonna look just like it does between Waco and Temple.
A good deal. I was reading Texas Tribune this morning out there in pickup. They're talking about data centers. And so they have put in where they think they are. And from the Red River right down 35 to right below San Antonio, they're just bubbles all on top of each other. They're coming and they're gonna be here. And the other people down 35 for the last 3 or 4 decades, I've heard that, 35 between 45 and 35 is gonna be solid business in towns down below San Antonio. And if you go really north of our county and go into Johnson County or Ellis County or further north, they're pretty well maxed out to those ranchettes or whatever you want to call them. And that's where we're headed. And I had a few farmers 2 or 3 years ago when I made the comment that I told James Ray Strong, before too many years, his family's gonna have to farm somewhere else. There's not gonna be any
Well,
farming.
if there's a way we can keep them on the I-35 corridor, I'd love that.
I don't.
We gotta maintain.
Well, we're gonna have
Our
to build
ranch community.
35, 30, they're gonna have to get away from 35, because you can't get down it now. And
That'd be.
we'll be going in farm to market rates.
That'd be the problem.
It's a good problem and a bad problem. Because property values will continue to go up. When I was a kid,
They're gonna drop like a rock.
when I was a kid, $150 an acre to buy a good farm. And I remember Dan Bischoff, he said he never gave over 200 an acre for all the land he owned. And so now you're looking at whatever, 7,000 to 10,000 for farmland or more. Anyway.
Any other
Nope.
discussions about the budget? Any questions of what I've put in and taken out?
Just see if this comes back. Hit it tomorrow.
So tomorrow we'll be discussing the elected official salaries. I'll put together if this is your desire, I will put together Miss Christie will put together an agenda for Tuesday. We already got to put an agenda together anyway, so we'll just add discussion or action on the proposed tax rate.
You can't get blood out of a dry turnip, just. Or we gotta cut back somewhere.
I mean, if you're looking at a crystal ball, trying to forecast what's coming down the road, and that's almost impossible.
Well.
Mr. Crumpton?
Make a motion adjourn.
You're adjourned.